Hello, my name is Odysseus. I'm from a distant land known as Ithaca. I've come to tell the tales of my greatest adventures out on the open sea. We started by sailing through the challenges that were given to us by Poseidon. We later landed on an island known as Ismaros. We found a village and killed all the male residents and then proceeded to have sexual intercourse with all the women, which they did not accept. Then I later contemplated my actions and thought to myself, am I really the good guy? We were sailing smoothly across the brisk. What was that? That's a hurricane. So we all prayed to the great lords, Zeus and Poseidon. They were all like, okay, but you'll have to show me how powerful you and your men are by staying alive for 10 more days. And we were stranded on the open water for 10 more days. Eventually, the winds picked up and plopped us on an island that was inhabited by people known as the Lotus Eaters. We were pretty peckish, so I sent my men to make contact with these people, and they said, eat the fruit of the lotus, and we'll gain your strength like it's magic. And my men said, okay, but I said, nope, ain't about that life. Turns out I made the right choice for once, because the fruit was cursed. My men's hearts were filled with lust like flowing dust and soft like pizza crust. The crust was the stuff for me. I prefer anchovies. There was only one place to get anchovies, the ocean, but my men didn't want to leave, so I dragged them back to my ship like sandbags. However, things got freaky, and one thing led to another, and I had to tie them up. Every time they squirmed or demanded to go back to the Lotus people, I only tied them tighter. We then proceeded to sail, and we hit an island unknown to us. We saw that every plant imaginable was on the island. It seemed like they didn't even plant it themselves, but more like gods have done it for them. We saw sheep and goats roam the pastures. We explored the island and sailed to different parts of this mysterious place. We rested our ship on the shore, and I ordered 12 of my best men to follow alongside me as we traveled even farther across the island. We found a large cave while exploring around, saw cyclopses roaming the pastures near the cave. We snuck past them and went inside the cave, saw crates filled with many different foods and pens full of many different animals. We lit a fire and made sacrifices to our gods. We waited for the cyclopses to return to the cave so we could greet them, while we were hoping for hospitality. When he walked in, he was carrying a huge load of firewood for his own supper. He threw it down with a huge crash, and we were all terrified. One of the strongest beings was in our presence, and I had no idea what to do. So we did what anyone else would do. Hide in a corner. Then he took a huge stone and placed it in front of the only exit so we couldn't escape. He asked us in a booming voice, strangers, who are you? Pirates sailing the seas to cause trouble? I then explained that we were Greeks that were blown off the course by the gods, and we landed here on his island. He then said he doesn't fear the gods, and that he asked where our ship was on the shore. I then told him our ship crashed on the island by Poseidon. He didn't say anything, but he picked up 2 of my men and threw them to the ground like puppies, their brains spilling and blood sprawling across the ground. Then he proceeded to rip apart their limbs and chomp them down. Gross, huh? We then all prayed to Zeus for our health, while the Cyclops downed the men with milk. We then let sleep take us over, and we decided to make a plan for the upcoming day. The Cyclops rekindled his fire and put the baby suckling goats under their mothers. When he finished his chores, he chomped down 2 more of my men for his breakfast. I then came up with a plan. Saw a large olive wood post that was as tall as a mast for my ship. Then I cut it down to a reasonable size, and then ordered my men to sharpen it to a point and hide it somewhere where it won't be seen. Then the Cyclops fell asleep and woke up later in the evening, and he performed his normal chores. Herded the flock inside, placed the sucklings under their mothers, then devoured 2 of my own men. Then I offered him a bowl of dark wine. He drank the whole bowl down to the last drop. Then he asked for more, so I gave him more. The wine had started to hit him, and asked for my name. Then I said, you ask me of my name, my glorious name, and I will tell you, remember now, to give me the gift just as you promised. No Man is my name, they call me No Man. My mother, my father, and my friends too. He then said that he would eat me last, because he said you always leave the best for last, and that was his gift to me. He passed out drunk on his bed, and I knew this was my chance to get him. I took the large, sharpened wood stake and heated it up in the fireplace. My men and I then drove the hot wood into Cyclops' only eye. He screamed in pain, hunching over his clenched eye, and then yelling to the Cyclops in the cave, and he yelled, no man is attacking me. And then I thought, wow, stupider than I thought. All of his Cyclops friends laughed and said, Polyphemus, how could no man be attacking you? We then tied the sheep together and clenched with all our might so we could hang from the sheep's wool from their underbelly. I hid under the one ram, and as his flocks was galloping outside, the ram was the last one out. Polyphemus picked up the ram and asked why it was the last one this time around. I was normally first in line. Once we were out of sight, we ungrassed from the flock and headed toward the ship. As we headed off into the sea, I shouted at the Cyclops, saying, "So, Mr. Cyclops, it turns out I wasn't a coward whose men you murdered and ate in your cave. You savage! But you got yours in the end, didn't you? You had the gall to eat the guest in your own home, and Zeus made you pay for it." He then proceeded to throw a large crag toward our ship. I shouted back at him, saying that I was Odysseus, and I was the man that poked your eye out and took your sight. He then restated a prophecy, saying that a man of my name would take his sight. The Cyclops raised his hands, praying for his father Poseidon that me and my men would never return home safely. We sailed further away, but then he threw another large rock at us that almost hit our ship. But we came out unscathed. So, Lord Alcinous, what'd you think of my sick story, bro? It was alright. Just alright? Yeah, really. Just alright. Okay, thanks, bye.